Good morning, members of the Savage Nation. Today's topic is very simple. It's called, as the title says, The Idols of the Nations Are Silver and Gold, the product of human hands. They have a mouth, but cannot speak. They have eyes, but cannot see. They have ears, but cannot hear, nor is there breath in their mouth. Those who make them will become like them, all who trust in them. House of Israel, bless the Lord. House of Aaron, bless the Lord. House of Levi, bless the Lord. You who fear the Lord, bless the Lord. Blessed is the Lord from Zion who dwells in Jerusalem. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord, for he is good, for his kindness is everlasting. Praise the God of the supernal beings, for his kindness is everlasting. Praise the Master of the heavenly hosts, for his kindness is everlasting, who alone performs great wonders, for his kindness is everlasting. But let me go back to the first line, and you're welcome to comment on whatever platform you may be listening to this God Talk. It's going to be very brief today. It is entitled, really, The Idols of the Nations Are Silver and Gold, the product of human hands. They have a mouth but cannot speak. They have eyes but cannot see. They have ears but cannot hear, nor is there breath in their mouth. Those who make them will become like them, all who trust in them. And let's pause there. Now, how did I come to pick up this passage to read today? Why did I read this today? Well, the holidays known as Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur just completed, the 10 days of awe in the Jewish calendar and the Jewish people. It's been a holiday going back, or let's say a passage of time, a marking of time, thousands of years. And it's a time of reflection. I myself am not a very religious person. I'm not a very observant person. I'm not proud of it. I'm not unproud of it. It's the way I have evolved on this planet over my many years walking across the hot coals of Earth. And sometimes I'm more observant and more believing than others. Sometimes I'm not. But when it comes to God, I've never faltered. I've always known that God exists. Not there is a God, that God exists. As far as the rituals of observance, I'm not that good at it. I don't want to pretend that I'm some holy man, because I'm not. And as I said to you, I'm not here to convert anybody. I'm just here to explain from within myself what I am going through. It's one man's passage along the planet among 7 billion people. So in the prayer books, and I don't have the patience to sit through it all, I'm apologetic in a way. Maybe I have ADD. Maybe I just have a low attention span. I mean, I've written 29 books. Some of them are behind me over here. I have a very great attention span when I'm focused on what I want to do. But when I'm not focused on what I don't really want to do, or where I don't really want to be, my mind wanders. It always has. So I go into these prayer sessions and I pick up the prayer book. Maybe you're the same way. And I hear the group praying. And I scan through the prayers. Sometimes I get 10 pages ahead of the rabbi. Sometimes I'm behind them and I start reading. If I find something in there that catches my eye, then I look at it, you know, I get focused on it. And I found a number of things that caught my eye. I wish I could find it right now for you. Here it is. So this comes from the morning prayers for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, by the Shacharit, the morning prayers. The sun rises, a new day begins in all of our lives, and we're told it's time to climb a ladder, to ascend to the heavenly spheres and fortify our sensitivity for God and spirituality. And we get this daily boost by getting near God with our prayers, and then we descend, and we're supposed to be better equipped to go into the day and the challenges and struggles and, let us say, temptations that the day will present after we have ascended to God in the morning. And these are the morning prayers, the Shacharit, supposed to recite them between sunrise and midday. The earlier, the better. It's a half an hour prayer. So I look at this prayer yesterday and I said, wow, this is good. The idols of the nations are silver and gold, the product of human hands. They have a mouth but cannot speak. They have eyes but cannot see. They have ears but cannot hear, nor is there breath in their mouth. Those who make them will become like them, all who trust in them. Very interesting. And that caught my eye, and I took out my phone and I took a picture of the page. And then I got home where I have a prayer book of my own. And I found the prayer in the morning prayers. And I thought how wise it was to remind people thousands of years ago what the temporal and the eternal really mean. So then this morning, I knew I would do this for you today. For whatever it's worth, maybe it's of some value to someone listening to me. I don't know. Many of you are brokenhearted and your spirits are crushed. That's why you've looked at this God Talk today. And there are prayers for you too. Many prayers. Many were written thousands of years ago. Guard your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking deceitfully. Turn away from evil and do good. Seek grace and praise it. The eyes of the Lord are directed toward the righteous, and his ears toward their cry. The wrath of the Lord is upon the evildoers to extirpate the memory of them from the earth. But when they repent and cry out, the Lord, meaning God, hears and saves them from all their troubles. God is close to the brokenhearted and delivers those with a crushed spirit. Is that you today? Are you brokenhearted? Do you have a crushed spirit? Is that why you're listening today to this man you never heard of? Many are the afflictions of a righteous person, but God rescues him from them all. He protects all his bones, not one of them is broken. Evil brings death upon the wicked, and the enemies of the righteous are condemned. God redeems the soul of his servants, and all who take shelter in him are not condemned. Then there's a prayer by Moses that caught my eye this morning. It's a long prayer. I'll read a few lines that I underline. For all our days have vanished in your wrath. We cause our years to pass like a fleeting sound. The years of our life number 70, if in great vigor 80. Most of them are but travail and futility, passing quickly and flying away. Who can know the intensity of your anger? Your wrath is commensurate with one's fear of you. Now, I focused on that. The years of our life number 70, if in great vigor 80. Most of them are but travail and futility, passing quickly and flying away. I'm in my 9th decade. I'm 82 years old. So it says that it's not like I'm going to live to the age of Moses, 120. If in great vigor, the years of our life number 70. 70 is considered a normal long life. If you're very strong and lucky, you'll live to 80. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? And yet who wants to go and leave this earth? I don't. I pray every day that I could stay on this earth and praise God. David wrote that prayer. He actually wrote the prayer. He said to God, I can put the book down because I remember the story. King David, I think he was afraid he was dying, and he said to God, what does it benefit you if you put me in the earth? When if I stay on this earth and I can sing your praises, it would be great for me and great for you to praise you. So please keep me alive. It was David begging God to keep him alive. Do you pray every day to keep alive? Do you think that you're alive just by accident? Do you think there's a purpose to your being alive? Do you use your days in some part to do good to others, even one kind deed a day? Just what if it's one kind deed? What if all 7 billion of us did one kind deed a day? Could you imagine how it would change the world? One kindness to a stranger, one kindness to a loved one. But most importantly, how about one kindness to ourselves to start with? Most of us are not very kind to ourselves, are we? We're kind of mean to ourselves. So what do I mean by be kind to yourself? Does it mean indulge yourself, eat strawberry shortcake, get an extra dose of order of French fries? I don't know. I don't mean that. I mean, be kind to yourself. Don't judge yourself so harshly. Maybe you're not as evil as you fear, because those who are truly evil don't even reflect upon their evil nature. They don't. They don't even. They're not listening to this show. They don't care about God. They believe that they are gods, and they don't even care about God. They curse God. They spit in God's face. They mock God to tempt those of us who believe in God to believe that they're stronger than God. They want to prove that there is no God by hurting others. Think about that psychology. It's pretty profound. So, we're trying to ascend to the heavenly spheres this morning and fortify our sensitivity for God and spirituality. And we're supposed to get a dose as we climb the ladder in the morning to get a little more energy to tackle the day and the temptations that will present themselves all day long. Temptations from the minor to the major. Some we overcome, some we don't. We don't eat that strawberry shortcake, but maybe we do something else. It's for you to judge yourself, not me. I was going to talk about something else today. I made a note earlier in the week for my God talk, which would be another whole separate one, but I'm going to put it in on the end of this one. This is going to be a very short one. Doesn't have to be long. I've told you about the idols of gold and silver. It's enough. Most people will listen for 5 minutes and turn it off and go to something else. There was a great writer named Martin Buber, and he wrote a great book called I and Thou. And I remember reading it in college, and no one understood it but me. And I understood it even as an 18-year-old. I was in college at 16 in Queens College, and we had to read philosophy. We had to read the curriculum in Queens College at that time was based on the 100 great books of the University of Chicago. And somehow I fell upon I and Thou by Martin Buber, and no one really understood it. It was heavy philosophy, and we kids didn't understand it. I understood it somehow, and I wrote a long essay. I don't even know how. Sometimes you get into writing, and words fly out of your hand, and you keep going. And then the essay was then copied by others that followed me in Queens College. They said, "Can I borrow your essay?" And I didn't even know what they wanted it for. They submitted it as their own with their name on it, and they all got A's. If anyone's from Queens College and they can find any essay on I and Thou, would you please send it to me? It's mine. I don't know how many generations copied Michael's writings. But what is I and Thou? What does it mean? It's a very complex use of words. I didn't know what it means because thou is not a word that we use in English. I and thou simply means the relationship between people should be me and you, not me and it. I'll explain it. Buber's I and thou, he was explaining, means our relationships with others should be me and you, not me and it. In other words, try not to objectify the other person. It's not me and it. It's me and you. We're two human beings. And once we accept the I and thou, me and you is how I translated I and thou into modern English, me and you, not me and it. I understood it completely all over again as a man, a grown man. See, me and you. So the next time you go to a fast food restaurant, for example, and that kid in there, that Hispanic kid perhaps, who hardly speaks a word of English, is giving you your order of hamburgers and French fries, don't get mad at that person if there's not enough ketchup in the package. Don't yell at that person as though that person is an it. It's you and them. It's a human being. You're inside that window. You're new to the country. You're working. You're not a bum. You're trying to make a living. So say, excuse me, can I please have another ketchup? Don't yell it and say, you stupid moron, you left the ketchup out of the bag. That's the whole story. Me and you, not me and it. It's not an it in the window. It's a you. It's a person. And I think that that's the whole message that I have for you today. You get it? That's the whole story. I began with the prayer, the morning prayer. The idols of the nations are silver and gold, the product of human hands. They have a mouth but cannot speak. They have eyes but cannot see. They have ears but cannot hear. Nor is there breath in their mouth. Those who make them will become like them, all who trust in them. There's a lot of Jewish hatred on the internet right now. I see it all the time. It's become fashionable to hate Jews. And it's mostly ignoramuses who don't even know what a Jew is. They've never met one. And they think that by being anti-Semitic, they're being cool right now. That's what's going around the world. It's all over the internet. They have never read a prayer book. They have no idea what Judaism is. They don't know what the prayers say. They have such nonsense. They don't read Hebrew, but they'll tell you what the Torah is. They don't read Hebrew, but the Nazis will tell you what the Talmud is. They have no idea about anything. They are the ignorant ones of the planet who are spreading hatred on the internet, and it's everywhere. But they've never read a prayer book. If you read the prayer books, it's like what I just read to you today. It's beautiful stuff if you take the time to look in it. If you're just a stupid oaf and you want to hate Jews, you'll say that the prayer books say hate the Christian, hate the goyim. It doesn't say that. None of that is in there. That's Nazism. And if you've fallen into that rat hole, you're never going to climb out of it. And all you're doing is cursing yourself. All you're doing is condemning yourself to a horrible life. That, my friends, is God Talk today. Sometimes short is long. Sometimes long is short. Today is short, but I hope it's long. If you've enjoyed the God Talk, I ask you to do two things. I think on YouTube you can hit the like button, but I think I'd rather you just spread it to 5 people you know and say, who is this guy? You got to listen to him. Okay, because I am shadow blocked and shadow banned on every platform. For some reason, I don't know, even on X. Many of the people are still there from when it was Twitter. The same turd worlders who have me on a no-go list, which I've lived with all my years in broadcasting. Those are some of the books I've written, I've published. I've had 29 books published. I've done a lot of things in my life. Look up Michael Savage, the whole story, the complete story. And you'll see that I'm spending my time with you on these God Talks, not because I'm getting rich doing it, but I'm enriching you and me by doing it. I'm enriching me and you by doing it, not me and it. Most broadcasters see themselves as a me, and you're an it. You're an audience. I've always seen you as a you. It's one of the reasons my show, although I was not supported by great backers, no agent, all the years in radio, why did I survive and thrive? Why did it become such a big show? Because you felt I was talking directly to you. Somehow, I can feel the people out there. It's a sixth sense, an ability to relate to an audience as though they're real. Me and you, not me and it. Thank you very much for listening. Tomorrow's podcast is going to be great. It's the Savage Nation podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. I have some of the best podcasts in the world. And thousands, hundreds of thousands of people listen to them twice a week. I have to find one of them. I may as well tell you about it because some of them are really good. Again, each one of us has our own world. So if you go to michaelsavage.com, home of the Savage Nation, Borders, Language, and Culture, on the top left, you will see Dr. Savage's new spiritual and religious venture, The Healing Wheel. And thehealingwheel.org is the website. It's a beautiful new thing I've created to be my legacy creation. And you will see the Healing Wheel and what it is by clicking on it. And my last podcast was called Life After Politics, The Healing Wheel, podcast number 777, which is a very powerful set of numbers. 777 has a very powerful, profound meaning. And it's on michaelsavage.com. But there are hundreds of other podcasts, meaning 777. And you could find them right there on michaelsavage.com. And you can listen to them on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify, and where all the great podcasts are heard. But again, if you really want to follow me, go to the healing wheel on the top left of michaelsavage.com, click on it, and opens the Healing Wheel Society. Took us months to create this. What is the healing wheel? Am I trying to convert anybody? No. Here's our mission statement. Many people don't like that there's a cross, a Jewish star, a Buddhist symbol, a Hindu symbol, an Islamic symbol on a revolving wheel. And in the center, there's a counter-rotating symbol. As I've said to you over many years, to me, religions are all means of trying to hear God and approach God. I can't sit here and say that everyone else's religion is wrong, and I think that it's wrong for you to say that about other religions. I didn't say follow their religion, but respect people who are trying to reach God through their religion. Again, I and thou means me and you, not me and it. Don't say, I am a Jew, therefore all other religions are its. They're not full people. Don't say because you're a Christian, your way is the only way. And many of you say it to me, and you get mad at me. I have no intent to convert or influence anyone to change their own religious beliefs. Go to the top of the healingwheelsociety.org and you'll see healingwheel.org. We believe the world is in turmoil, and we aim to lower the heat between religions and peoples. We are also dedicated to helping protect wild places and wild animals from exploitation and desecration. The fragility of nature must be respected and preserved. We believe it is our duty and responsibility to God to defend the defenseless and to protect our fragile airs, waters, and places for our children's children, to save us from desecrating ourselves irreparably. We did not create the land nor the seas, but must become the stewards of God's creations. How do you like that? So I've combined environmentalism or conservation. I'd rather say conservation because environmentalism has become a Marxist tool. And animals are sacred. I used to call Teddy, my dog, see him back there above the painting, an angel with fur. And when I wrote the book, Teddy and Me, Confessions of a Service Human, everybody loved that book who had a chance to read it. I always called him an angel with fur. He's in heaven now. He passed a couple of years ago. I never bought another dog. I can't be with another dog. I love them when I see them. I find they're cute. Some are not. They're hostile. Some are hostile. But most of them are angels with fur. That's why we love our dogs and cats. Angels with fur. So if you go to healingwheel.org and you see my mission statement, and you look who's on there, Gandhi on God and Truth, Ernest Hemingway, Nobel Prize speech. He was one of my heroes. Helen Keller speaks out. Aldous Huxley on the power of technology. Henry Miller, a secular author on non-striving, because Henry Miller was actually a writer who was always very aware of God. People thought he was a porno writer. He wasn't. Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. But you have to read him to understand he was a spiritual seeker. The Healing Wheel Society is an organization which hopes to lower the enmity between religions and peoples. In cooperation with Michael Savage, our current mission is to provide educational religious content and ideas. By inviting listeners, critics, and advocates into the discussion, we hope to weave the larger humanitarian fabric of fostering mutual respect. We hope that as the Healing Wheel gains traction, we will have the opportunity to work with other speakers, presenters, and proponents of religions. Our goal is to emphasize that many religions have more in common than in division. As long as a religion has a belief in God, one God, the true God, and doing goodness to others, it is part of the Healing Wheel Society. We ask for your help at this critical stage to further propel our organization and its mission further. Please consider donating so that we may help bring better understanding and peace to the world. It's very simple, and you click the donate button. I do not take 1 cent from this organization. I'm not a false prophet. I donated my own money to create this organization, to pay the people, the hardworking people who are running it. And we hope that with your donations, it will go on for years to come and bring people together instead of driving them apart. And if you like this God talk, you'll find all my God talks now linked on the healingwheelsociety.org. We took them all and we put them up there. Isn't that amazing? There's a lot of them. I had no idea I've been doing them for so long. Amazing. God talk, man's inhumanity to man. God talk, guardians of the earth. God talk, is God dead? God talk, I am as the last of the summer fruits. God talk, strong fathers are not mean fathers. Has God abandoned America? God talk, Gog and Magog, prophesied in the Bible. God talk, do people have two souls? There's a lot of God talks. God labors every day. I did that one on Labor Day. God talk, how is the world created? God is the bow, we are his arrows. God talk on transience. I guess older people find religion. And you say, well, he's just old now and he's worried about deaths. He's doing this preachy stuff, but I still like him. Okay, look at it that way if you want, but you'll find if you actually look at my life's writings, I've been looking for God for a very long time and finding him here and there. I've never found God, never talked to him. I'm not Jimmy Carter. He never came into my living room. I've seen snapshots of God. And back in 2017, I published God, Faith, and Reason, which if I get the rights back to the book, I'm going to start offering this to people who donate a certain amount of money to the healingwheel.org. We don't have the rights as of right now. But it begins with me in the Bronx as a little kid running down the street. I said I never saw God, nor do I pretend to have any special insights. What you will see in this book are snapshots of God, not a complete film. You see what I'm saying to you? I've always been looking. Even since I've been a little kid, I've asked about God. Where is God? And there's stories about me as a child running down a street in the Bronx on Longfellow Avenue with a newspaper blowing down in the wind. I didn't know what it was. It was a newspaper written in a language I didn't understand, but I knew it was a language my grandmother read. It was a Yiddish newspaper. I thought it was a holy piece of script or a holy text rolling down the street. The wind was blowing. It must have been a late autumn day and the winter was coming in the Bronx, and it was howling wind and the newspapers were blowing down the street. I thought it was a holy script that was blowing away in the wind. And like a child, I ran after the papers and grabbed them and gathered them up and put them together and brought them back to my house and gave them to my grandmother. I thought it was some kind of holy book. And she laughed and she said, "It's okay, Michael. It's only a newspaper." I've been running after God since I've been a little child. It's not just that I'm an older man now. You get it? Okay, my friends, I thank you very much. Remember, we are I and thou, meaning me and you. I'm not a me and you're not. I'm not me and you're not an it. It's I'm me and you're listening to me because you're a you. Even the scoffers who may put things up there, doesn't matter to me. They're also seeking something. They really are seeking something. They want to scoff at everything because they're so isolated. What does a scoffer do and put everyone down? What are they doing? They're so miserable. They're so unhappy. They're so isolated from other people that all they can do, the only way to relate to other people is by hating other people and saying other people are this, other people are that, other people are no good. Only they are great. That means they're lost, they're lonely, and they're screaming for someone to reach out for them and say, it's okay, calm down. It's you and me with two people. Can we talk, brother? That's the person who should go into a church today, the scoffer. The person who's so mean inside that all he does is hate everyone. That person should go into a church wherever he is. Anywhere he is on this earth, listening to this show live, go in a church. It's early enough in the morning, you may find one that's open, unless you're watching it late after it's. This is a live show. So if it's a live show, as you're seeing it now, go in a church this morning if you're a scoffer. You'll see some beautiful people who welcome you and take you in. And you'll break down in tears because it's the first time you've actually been able to let go of that shell of hatred that you have created like a turtle to protect yourself because you're so wounded inside. You are the scoffer. You are the one who is hurt so badly that you created a hard shell around yourself. Go in and meet some good Christian people in a church. They'll welcome you. I promise you that. Thank you for listening. HealingWheel.org. May God bless America. May God be restored in America. May God come back and lead America. Thank you very much for being with me today on God Talk. I'm Michael Savage.